we'll start out with mixing up our Butterfinger cake. We're going to do the ones that take a little bit more time. We'll put that one in first. With this recipe, you're going to follow the directions on the back of your box. Okay, just a simple making a chocolate cake. Now, 9x13 pan, you know, we have the disposable pan here. So we're just going to mix that up with 3 eggs, a half cup of oil, and 1/3 cup of water. Yes, here's your eggs. I'll get your water. Did I pull out the measuring cup? It's over here. Doris is going to mix up the cake mix while I still locate.
He's already lost the measuring cup.
That's good, isn't it?
It's okay though. It does tell you to spray your pan just a little bit depending on the pan that you have. You might just want to give it a little bit of a coat. You can use a mixer. We chose not to for the show. That way it won't be as loud when it's actually running. You can mix it by hand or you can actually use a mixer, either way you want to do it.
It's very important when you're making a cake, no matter what kind of cake you're making, if it's a wedding cake, a bundt cake, a stack cake, anything, you want to preheat your oven. Why do you want to preheat your oven? Because if you don't, when you put it in there, it's an uneven tint. So it's going to start out really low and it's going to take a little bit longer to cook. So go ahead and preheat your oven while you're prepping your cake mixes. So I've got it going at 350. 350 is a really good temp when you're using a cake mix. If you live in a higher elevation or a lower elevation, you know, sometimes that has to, it'll be a variation in your cooking times and your temps. But with this cake, we're going to do 350. We're just preparing the regular cake. Now, as soon as we put this in, we'll move to another recipe and come back to this one, because after it's baked, as soon as it comes out is when we're going to top it with 1 king size Butterfinger or 2 regular size Butterfingers. We're going to crumble those up, and I've got those already ready. You're going to put those on first and then take a fork and we're going to poke holes inside the cake. Not, you know, you don't have to tear the cake up, just give it nice little holes, and we're going to pour a can of sweetened condensed milk. This is a really rich cake. It's, you know, you got to have coffee, ice cream, or milk with this one, okay? This is one that if you want to really impress people at church, you can take this one and they just awe over it, okay? Say you don't like Butterfingers, you want to try something different, you could use Snickers, you can use Reese cups, you can just use your imagination on what's your favorite candy bar. I've also done it with Heath bars. So we're going to put this in the oven, and then after it's out of the oven, you're going to let it cool, and when it's completely cooled, we top it with whipped topping, and I do have a finished product that we can show you on that one, and then when this one comes out, I'll show you how to top it. Oh, it smells better than it looks. Let's pull these down. Pull all our items down. I had extra oil.
I know, I was looking.
See, this we won't need yet. Here's the Butterfingers that I use. These are 2 for $1 as you're checking out. You know, you can get these 2 for $1. Or if you want to buy the miniature packs and just crunch up those, you know, you get those for $1 for 10 little minis. I like using the king size Butterfingers, the bigger ones. It's just easier to crunch up 1 candy bar instead of opening every little candy bar and crunching those up. But I go ahead and crunch them up inside the pack. All you got to do is just rub them together like this, and you've already got your Butterfinger crunched up. I mean, Butterfingers are really easy to crunch. Open the top and pour it in your cup. I've separated 2 candy bars so I can set 1 to the side for my topping and 1 for the actual cake. While this cake is still hot is when you want to put this Butterfinger on there. The reason why is your chocolate's going to melt, and your Butterfinger, that toffee's going to melt on there. Just put it all over a fork. Just jab holes all around your cake so that when we put the sweetened condensed milk, it'll go straight into the cake. And I put an entire can of sweetened condensed milk on this, okay? This cake's better if it's set in the refrigerator overnight and all that settled to the bottom and thickened up really good. But sometimes I can't wait and I have to eat it when it comes out. You do not have to put the whipped topping. You can just leave it the way it is if you don't like whipped topping. So I'm using a whole can of sweetened condensed milk. Just put that all over the cake. Let it drizzle down in. Now you have two options from here. You can let it set out on the counter and cool till it's completely cool and then put your whipped topping and then refrigerate. Or if you're in a hurry and you want to throw it into the refrigerator or into a freezer and let it get good and cold that way. Either way is fine as long as it is cool. Don't put your whipped topping on while it's still warm. You know, that may sound funny, but some people don't know that the whipped topping is actually milk. It's a dairy product that's going to soak down into your cake. You can buy whip that is a non-dairy if you're going to go out to a picnic or something you're not going to have refrigeration. You can buy a non-dairy whipped. Just look, it's usually like the value time I think is a non-dairy because it's a cheaper product. You can put that one on it and it won't go bad if you're out. But you want to keep it chilled if you're using the whipped. The cake's a lot better when it's cold too. So we're going to just set that back to the side and let it get cold. All I did was I topped it with the whipped topping, okay? Then I took the other Butterfinger and I buy the can of chocolate, the Hershey's. I don't know what it is about the can. I just think it's pretty neat itself that it's in a can and not a squirt bottle. And I just drizzle that over the Cool Whip first so that it gives a layer of chocolate. Then you just put another layer of your Butterfinger on top of that and give it some more chocolate top. Just a nice drizzle.
Now this is another one that you can choose any kind of anymore.
Like we mentioned, I know that this recipe developed from the Heath Bar cake, one of the Heath Bar cakes. There's tons of options that you can do on that one. So that is our Butterfinger cake. But this is our finished product on the Butterfinger cake. So if you have a pan that has a lid, this is real nice to take to family events. You can just put the lid on it. You don't have to worry about icing in the sides. Just a real quick cake. And I use the Cool Whip that's a little bit thicker. It's actually the extra creamy, which gave it the yellow tint, the yellow color to it, so that was nice. Of course, this is a food club item. With economic things going on now, anything to save a buck helps. And all our food club products are compared to national brands, and they are just as good.